this is FantasyEsque, and welcome back to The Sims 4 Vampire Amazon Royal Saga with the Salazar Coven. Things are getting more and more interesting with these ladies, especially as the youngsters are aging up, because some of them have been making some questionable decisions. But hey, it's definitely spicing up the story. Now, what happened in the mini-movie of this episode? We started off with a scene between Elaine and Juno. So we know that Elaine's been keeping an eye on Azora and the half-visitant spellcasters, specifically, sending Luciano off to make sure that he is kind of keeping track of their movements and seeing if there's any magical anomalies happening with them. And he was present, or at least, he managed to see what was happening during Leon's death. So he brought this news back to Elaine, and so Elaine's got enough pieces to be able to start, playing her game, I suppose, with Juno, or getting Juno back to her side in the court. So she finally approached Juno, and she basically told Juno that you have been plagued by Sage's death, like we can all see it. What if I told you I had answers? Would you be willing to hear them out? And Juno, she was kind of, I think, feeling a bit short-tempered, because I think Juno is short-tempered. And she knows the way Elaine operates. She knows that she has witnessed Elaine's manipulation as a youngster in the past. So she, definitely didn't want to be influenced by that too much. She kind of didn't put much value, I think, in what Elaine was maybe saying to her. So Elaine told her that I have been studying the recent deaths and I have learned of their cause. The half-visitants, they are manifesting their strange powers. Sage's death was the result of Azora's. So that scene kind of happened between them. So she, revealed the cause of the deaths to Juno. And Juno is the first person she's revealed this to, remember? Nobody else has an inkling of what's been going on at all, because everyone else has been pretty oblivious and lost in their own problems, namely romantic ones. So I feel like following that, Juno kind of would have asked Elaine, like, why should I trust you? And I think the card that Elaine would have played would be, not only did you lose your cousin, but I lost my sister and I lost my nephew. So do you really think I would be playing around with this kind of information? So with Elaine, we already know how she feels about her sister and Leon. She wasn't that attached to them, but obviously not everyone works that way. People are attached to people they're related to, especially for Juno. So even though she knows in the past Elaine has manipulated and she's kind of played people against each other like chess pieces, this gets Juno right now, because Juno knows how it feels to lose someone you love, and she can sympathize with the fact that Elaine lost her sister, her twin sister, and also her nephew. And she feels like when it comes to familial matters, things that really matter, Elaine wouldn't lie about that, or she wouldn't try to use it against others. So Juno, she believes Elaine. She believes Elaine, especially when Elaine's approaching her from that angle. And I think she is a little bit shell-shocked right now because of her relationship with Azora. I think she's going through like guilt and a whole bunch of other things. So she's going to be, processing what she's heard and what she knows and what she feels for the remainder of this episode. And then we had a forbidden scene between Prince Darrell and Princess Eve. So Prince Darrell was saying, are you sure, like, you're saying that the Visitants allow this, like a union between brother and sister? And Eve said, yes. I think she said, yes, my love, like it's the most natural thing in the world. Don't concern yourself with the customs of this land. They're just rules made by people, given to us. So obviously where she comes from, this kind of thing is a little bit more normal. So in the Salazar Empire, obviously there have been instances where, especially the royal line, they have bred with their great uncles and their cousin uncles, that has been pretty common. But nothing really has happened. It's kind of taboo between really closely related family members. So no cousins, which is why Sage and Juno were never a thing, and obviously no siblings. But Eve is breaking that because in the Visitant lands, and she's been learning these things about a culture probably from the Visitant lords, or maybe she's getting information from them. She's learning these things about how it's kind of normalized there. And with even like marriages in the Salazar Empire, marriages just happen between one couple, whereas in the Visitant lands, I think Tibba is the one who told the queen this, marriages happen between like multiple people, or a person can have multiple spouses, right? It's not necessarily like everyone can have multiple spouses. One person in the relationship can have multiple spouses depending. So it's more normalized there, and apparently this incestuous thing is also normalized there to a degree. So I feel like with Daryl, he's kind of fascinated by the Visitant culture. Now remember, his father was Jackie, if I'm not mistaken, along with Bryce. They were the twins, the Ranarin twins, who were actually captured by the Visitants during the war, and they had to be, rescued or negotiated for and pulled out in exchange for the Visitant spellcaster Theltilki that the Salazars had. But they, for a while there, were captured by the Visitants. And I think some of those stories would have passed down to, Sage, Griffin, and Daryl. Obviously, with Sage and Griffin, it hasn't affected them in the same way. But with Daryl, I think he's more and more fascinated with the Visitant appearance, with the Visitant culture. And a part of him kind of wants to relive the war and the excitement of it. But obviously, the war's not going anymore. He doesn't have access to that. And Prince Voldemort is dead. However, his half-sister, Princess Eve, she looks exactly like the Visitants do. She looks just like, everyone says, the invading prince. So he's kind of immersing himself into the Visitant world and the Visitant culture. And when Eve is, approaching him with these sentiments, he's kind of allowing it to happen. Because I think a part of him doesn't really see Eve as a sister. I think a part of him sees her as like a foreign invader almost, that he wants to give into and he wants to become, I feel like. So it's weird. Like, just like Eve, she's proud of, her identity and herself, but I think a part of her wants to become Daryl. And likewise, a part of Daryl wants to become Eve. And so this is kind of what it's resulted in, which is strange. But hey, plotline's going places, guys. These Sims are taking us places. And then we had a scene between the Queen and Shelo Shevchenko, the twin of Trista, who has been selected by the Queen for her newest breeding. I think this is her 8th one, her 8th royal breeding, and the 4th of Visitant breeding. And she was basically just saying that, your brother gave me a pretty little thing in Princess Bloom. I hope I can expect the same from you. So at this rate, I think most of us are convinced the Queen is going to have yet another princess. I mean, it's not always the case, because we have to remember she had Prince Rusty and she had Prince Daryl. So it's not always the case that the Queen has princesses, but more often than not. I mean, she's got a good track record. She's got 7 children right now. 2 of them are boys, 5 of them are girls. So I think we might get our full court of princesses like we've kind of been wanting or hoping for or gotten used to the idea of at this point. So okay guys, let's dive right on in and get this going. It's the Queen. Let's go ahead and where is it? Here we go. I'm actually going to turn autonomy back on so everyone else can do whatever it is they want to do. And this time I was more organized, guys, and I actually made sure that we had flippin' space in the household for the breeding to occur. Because I feel like the past couple of times I've just been out of it and I forget and then I have to jump back in after I fixed it up. But hey, I was organized this time around. Also, I don't know what the heck happened, but I noticed that with some of our groups, like with Eden's Court, I suppose it doesn't make, like, it's not too much of a problem because that's all the members. But I noticed with Kyra's group, a bunch of our Sims got kicked out and these two spots got locked up, and the same thing happened with Eve's group. And then I looked at the club points, and our club points are like back here, which doesn't make sense because a couple episodes back we would have noticed, I think Eden had like 8,000 points, Kyra had a ton, like 1,000, Eve did as well, because, you know, these groups are like always active, but I don't know what's gone on. So with Eve's group, we should have Xander and Daryl here, and then with Eve, we should have Diana, and then soon Nixon will be joining. So hopefully we will get those club points back up, but it does mean I'm going to have to invite them over quite frequently, which I feel like I've been doing anyways mostly. But hey, that is something we have to work towards. Okay, can we get Sherlo? Yep, we can. Yes, we can get him upstairs, and that is exactly what we shall do. Okay, let's come on here. Get some action going between these two. Yes, it's very awkward for Juno, but seriously, Juno, what are you doing? Where is Juno even? Why are you third wheeling? Let your mother do what your mother has to do. She's here. Ay, ay, ay. Stop irritating your mother. She's busy. She's got important stuff to do right now. Okay. So if this is a girl, I mean, even if it is a boy or a girl, but this child is going to be more closely related. What's happening here? Oh, a dog is dying. A fox is dying. Gee, fox. Gee, I don't think it's that important. But yeah, this next child the queen's about to have is going to be the most closely related to Bloom. That's because both Bloom and Bloom's father and Sherlo are twin brothers, so obviously they'll be more genetically tied to each other. So as well as being, you know, half siblings, they will be cousins, paternal cousins. So yeah, that'll be exciting. Imagine if they did have a girl. Imagine if the queen had another princess with the exact same genetics as Bloom. Because this next child will have purple eyes. And if it is a girl, will also have the purple hair. And if, you know, she is born with the queen skin, so she looks exactly like Bloom, just imagine, it would be so interesting because in the court, we would have the two oldest sisters who are non-visitant and they look exactly the same. And then we have the two youngest sisters who are closely related and look almost exactly the same. But I feel like they would kind of be the, you know, visitants and then the non-visitants. And then we have Diana and Eve kind of in the middle doing their own thing. Eve, I feel like, would be more closely aligned with Bloom and the youngest daughter, and then Diana would kind of be more closely aligned with Kyra and Juno. That would be fascinating. That would definitely be a really cool makeup to have. Are you guys making progress with what you're supposed to be doing? Yes? No? Are you guys? What's happening? What's happening? Okay, they are. Good. It was just taking a while to process the information for what she had to do. Okay, that's fine. So they're going on up. Excellent. I kind of hope, if this is a girl, I kind of hope that she has the queen skin, because now I want her to look exactly like Bloom. Basically, whatever Juno, because Kyra and Juno have the same thing going on. They're paternal cousins, as well as being half-sisters. So it'd be cool if, you know, the two oldest princesses and the two youngest princesses had, like, the same dynamic. That'd be pretty awesome. Well, that would definitely be awesome. And then it would be like, even though they don't have the dark skin, it would be like... Actually, yeah, because, you know, Sherlo and Trista, they were Voldemort's captains. So it'd kind of be like Eve is like the leader of the non-visitants, and then Bloom and Bloom and the last princess, the youngest one, they would be her captains, you know, and then you'd have Kyra and Juno with Diana. I think that would be very interesting. And then if we end up having a civil war, at least we'll have like evenly split powers. So we'll have like the royalty kind of evenly split across the board, you know? 5, I feel like, becomes a bit of an odd number. Okay, Queenie. Let's have a test and take a look. Do we have ourselves some good news? What was that? Do you see that? I saw fumes. I don't know what that was from. Or maybe that was not fumes. Maybe that was just like the vampiric energy. Okay, come on. Come on, let's go take a test. The Queen has definitely been a bit slow on the uptake of late. Come on, let's take a test. Chop, chop. There we go. There we go. She just needed some time to figure things out. And then she's good to go. But guys, we have had 20 children born. This is like with the very last child we had born, taking that into account. So Lagatha's last son, Reed. We have had 20 children born, and 2 of those children have died. So, yep, Eden's expectant. Yeah, 2 of those children have died. Leon and, Sage. But we had 19 pregnancies because Sage and Griffin were a set of twins. So this is like the 20th pregnancy we're having in total. And so what, that's like 18. Yep, and then 5 of the children that were born were spellcasters. So that's 13. About 13 vampires were born, and out of the 13, we've had 5 girls. So, yeah, that's kind of what we have going on. So about 8. That means we have 8 males, if I'm not mistaken. We've got about 8 male vampires who are still alive. So that's a lot of children. A lot of children that have been born in this generation. We haven't really kept track of how many children have been born in previous generations, especially with the males. I've kind of just counted the females, but this time around, like in this generation, I was way more organized, and I feel like I put more effort into this generation, just with everyone, like males and females, which is why, to me, this feels like the most fun generation we've ever had, and I'm getting a lot of feedback from you guys in the comment section as well, and that's kind of telling me that you guys are also enjoying this generation the most out of all the generations we've had. So that makes me really happy. But yeah, that's kind of what we have going on with the amount of babies that have been born. So this is the 20th pregnancy we're having, and this child that is about to be born is going to be the 21st child that we have. So that is a ton. That is like so many children. So many children. But okay, let's set the event. So we've got 1, 2, 3. On Thursday, the Queen will be having the day after the Blood Bowl. So add this event. Let's do house party. Okay, we'll get these guys to host. We'll invite Sherlo and Trista and Bloom. That's really exciting. And then obviously Diana, Elaine, Azora. Oh, Lexi is already a host. Who else? Who else needs to be here? Really nobody else. I think we're good with just these number of guests. And then actually the groups, we'll have the groups active anyways, so a bunch of people will show up. Okay, we'll do 5 p.m. So we've got 5 p.m. on Thursday is when this baby is going to be born, around the time the event will start. Okay, excellent. That makes me happy. So I'm gonna let the queen give the good news to Sherlo. So she's gonna give Sherlo the good news, and then I am going to get him moved back into the House of Lords. We'll get all of our females moved in, and actually I think I want to take everyone out to a new lot that the queen has constructed in honor of Elaine, actually. She feels like Elaine's been doing a good job as a scholar educating the children, so she has built a gymnasium in honor of Elaine, so Elaine Gymnasium. So I think we're going to take everyone there, especially now that, you know, the focus is kind of being on Eve's training. And I have been working on Eve in the background, guys. And Eve, she is now a prime vampire. And if we look at her PowerPoints, look at this. She's got all of the Occult Master, she's got the Vampiric Might, all of that. And she's going to start working towards this one, the Child of the Moon. Once she's got all three, then she will be ready around the time when she hits the rank of Master. She'll be ready to start fighting Guinevere. Actually, by that point, she's going to have to wait until she is an immortal before she can fight Guinevere, before she can complete that sparring training. But after that, we can start working towards getting that Perfect Sun resistance. So yeah, she's actually doing very well. But recently she has had to work a lot on her own. So reading the vampiric tomes and doing her meditations, because obviously everyone has been in mourning, so they haven't been too much in the mood to train her. She has gotten a few training sessions in with Guinevere. I think she got one in with Queen Eden, and surprisingly she's been seeking out Juno to get help from Juno for her training, so Juno's been helping out as well. Kyra obviously is keeping her distance, but I feel like Eve is desperate enough that she feels like Juno's approachable, and Juno, she's more on Kyra's side and wary of the Visitants, but I think she's always kind of been a bit more in the middle. Yeah, so there we go. I'm gonna get these guys settled, and then we'll jump back to see what everyone's up to later on. Okay, we are not heading over to the Elaine Gymnasium just yet, because I realized belatedly that we haven't done Princess Diana's reading, and I said we would do that in the previous episode. So lo and behold, here we are in the Goddess Temple with our newest priestess, Lady Lexi, on the left, and our newest princess to join the household, Diana. Jeez, I was about to say Lady Diana, but no, Princess Diana on the right. So we're going to be looking at Lexi's thought bubbles. The first 3 thought bubbles she has about Diana is going to be her signs. And I want you guys to jump down in the comments for each of those signs. Give me your predictions for what you think is going to happen in Diana's future, or what they mean. And I'll basically throw your suggestions into a Google document, and I'll use them as influence when I'm thinking of the storylines in the next generation for Diana. So, okay, let's jump into it. I feel like this is something that Lexi is going to be doing very seriously, trying to connect with the higher powers to, you know, really decipher the coming days of Diana, because this is her first duty as priestess in the coven. And remember, she's kind of out to prove herself to be really capable and, you know, this worthy figure. She wants to get to that revered status for the work that she does, because she can do it well. So let's go ahead. I'm excited. We already know Diana is sort of like a bridge between, I feel like, the 2 factions within the royal family. And I'm curious to see what kind of readings she'll have as a result. So, okay, let's go through and see the signs she's gonna get. Okay, Lexi, what do you have for us? Tell us what is in Diana's future. Okay, so we've got monster. We've got monster. Or like sea monster. I'm gonna go with just monster. We've got monster as her first sign. Okay, that's a bit terrifying. What is her second sign going to be? Her second sign is... We're ignoring Diana. We're looking at Lexi. What is his second sign, Lexi? Come on. Is the future hard to decipher? Is it really? Okay, food. So we've got food as Diana's second sign. And her third sign... Oh geez, I'm getting distracted. My goodness. Her third sign is... What is it? What is it? Come on. Baking? Okay, so baking. I feel like they're pretty decent signs, except the first one. So we got sea monster, food, and baking. Oh. Diana, what does this mean? What does this mean for your future, young one? Okay, guys. Well, the signs for Diana that you guys need to give predictions on are sea monster, food, and baking. So jump down in the comments, let me know what you think those signs mean, and I will throw them all in a Google document. Okay, I'm gonna really quickly here, guys, write this down, otherwise I'm going to forget. I normally have my notes like all prepped, but I didn't this time around. Oh well. Okay, sea monster, food, and baking. I'm really curious, like, what does this mean? Sea monster might be a reference to a visitant side. Food might be contentment, and who knows, baking might be like the mixture of cultures, or, you know, her baking being the making force, the bridge between the visitant side and the others. I don't know, that's just kind of what I'm thinking based on the way my brain works, but you guys might have some very interesting predictions. So okay, before we actually head off to the gymnasium, actually, let me turn autonomy on. I just didn't want them to, you know, run off from the temple. Okay, so that's done and dusted. We do have some whims that would be nice to get out of the way before we leave. Now, Juno, yeah, she's been spending a lot of time with Elaine ever since Elaine told her the truth. I feel like maybe they're discussing and they're planning together. They now have kind of, you know, a shared goal, I suppose, to resolve the deaths. But she has been wanting to chat with Lady Catalea about what, I'm not entirely sure, but she talked about fertility. That's interesting. But no, she is going to complain about the cold. Why not? Maybe she's going to complain about the general coldness of this society because of all the deaths that are happening recently. Maybe that's what she wants to do. She's going to speak to Catalea, and plus, Catalea is, well, now she's been promoted to her second mother, so I suppose it makes sense that you're kind of giving respect to that person by seeking them out as a parental figure and maybe discussing your concerns with them. So yeah, she's gonna talk to Catalea a little bit, and that's fine and well. Okay, there we go. Hopefully that's given her a little bit of peace in whatever regard. Maybe Juno's wondering why Catalea has been so cold to, you know, the deaths. Maybe she's wondering that. Like, even she wasn't that close to Catherine, but she still got affected by Catherine's death, you know? So maybe she's wondering, like, what's going on. And who else did we have? Okay, Azora. Now, Azora here, she's noticed that Juno has been quite reserved since Sage's death, and she's been wanting to break through that barrier that they have between them. So she actually wants to embrace Princess Juno. Now, I don't know how Juno's going to feel about this, given what she's learned. She may just allow it to happen so as to not tip off Azora, that, you know, they kind of know what's going on. But the thing is, Azora doesn't even know what's going on. And I don't think Chance does, but Chance might have more of an inkling than Azora does. because, you know, he's got that connection with his father, and the two of them together might be able to work out more than Azura can on her own amid all these vampires. But she's gonna go and she's gonna approach Juno, and I feel like Juno right now is just hating every second of having to do this. I feel like she's hating every second of having to force herself to be in Azura's company right now, given what she knows about Azura. But okay, I think we are ready to take everyone to the gymnasium, and we will catch up with them then and there. Finally, we have arrived at Elaine Gymnasium. So this lot was built by Wiktorinka Zero. I leave the details in the description below so you guys can download it and play it in your own game if you would like. But it is lovely. It is lovely, a quaint red and black gym on the inside, but it looks kind of dated on the outside, which I really like. Kind of fits into our world a little bit more than, you know, the really modern gyms, which I'm not a big fan of. But on the inside, it's quite neat. Not gonna lie. Look at this. So on the inside, obviously it's a gymnasium, so it's got a whole bunch of fitness stuff. But you've got a lobby on the right. You've got an indoor pool, which is very useful for the vampires. There is kind of this section outside with some punching bags, so that could pose a potential hazard, but it's okay, we can keep an eye on that. And then if you go down, look, you've got even more equipment for training. I mean, look at all the vampires. Just look at all the vampires. Everyone seems to be doing, like, their fitness things really well and being really into this. I feel like even training for, like, wars and stuff, this would be amazing to use. And then upstairs we have all of the lockers and the change rooms and the bathroom, so I feel like that's quite neat and nice. But there we go, that's what we have for Elaine Gymnasium. I feel like it's very interesting for this gymnasium to be built right now when Elaine's kind of doing her own thing in her honor. So, we've got that. We've managed to get enough points, by the way, in our groups to be able to unlock like one more slot. So I've got Diana in here and Xander in Kyra's Companions, but hopefully our club points can get up. We have invited everyone over, so that should be good. And now we get to see how everyone's feeling or what everyone's thinking and what they might want to do or who they might want to interact with. So Eve wants to get to know Eden. Okay, she's trying to build more of a connection with her mother. That does make sense. Her royal mother. How is her relationships with everyone? It's pretty good. Within the household, she is friends. I mean, she's got a cordial relationship, I would say, with Juno and Kyra, and with Diana. She is getting closer to Guinevere because, you know, they're spending a lot of time together training, and she's got a decent relationship with her mother. But really, nothing too special. And if we look at Eden, how does she feel about her daughters? So, she actually has been getting closer to Juno than Kyra. I wonder why that is. Maybe she sympathizes with the loss that Juno's had, and she can clearly see, like everyone else, that Juno was in love with Sage, and it's kind of a level of understanding that comes with that. And I think everyone's just so heartbroken for her. And now the queen, now that she's lost Catherine, she understands Juno a lot more. So there's probably that emotional connection there. But not far from Juno is Kyra, of course. She's always been a staple of the queens. And then Diana and Eve, they have equal standing. So that's kind of interesting. But yeah, Eve wants to get to know her mother. And let's see, nothing on Juno's end. Catalea, she's been wanting to chat with Princess Juno. Maybe some of the questions that Juno asked her back at the castle about why she's being so cold to all these deaths. Because remember, she was one of two people who did not outwardly show much sadness during Catherine's funeral as well. So, yeah, Juno might have noticed that. Just like Juno noticed, Juno was the only one who noticed that Catalea wasn't happy during Catherine and Eden's wedding. So, you know, Juno's always noticing things. So I think now Catalea is kind of rushing to reassure Juno that no, she is sad. She's just trying to be strong for everyone else. Which is rubbish, but that's Catalea's rubbish. Okay, Lagatha over here. She wants to, become friends with Princess Diana. Oh, that's so cute. This is the brood mother in here coming out. This is the brood mother in her. She wants to get close to all of the youngsters and make them feel really welcome. Even during Eve's time, remember? She's never been that close to Eve, but when Eve moved in, everyone was busy with other things and they didn't give her much attention. But Lagatha kind of sat down with her and told her that, we've been a little bit busy and all over the place. I'm sorry if we haven't been able to make your arrival as welcoming as it should be, but I will try and arrange something so that we are, checking in with you. So I suppose she's doing the same with Diana, which is very nice. How lovable of Lagatha. Kyra over here, she wanted to chat with Miss Delphi. Delphi's not even in the same, if I'm not mistaken, Delphi's not even in the same companion group as her. So I'm curious as to why she might be wanting to speak to Delphi. But yeah, we've got that going on. Guinevere, nothing on her end, nothing on the Queen's end. And Lady Lexi. Lady Lexi over here wants to chat with Lady Catalea. And then I was thinking, let's, check up on her relationship panel to see how she settled in. Like, has she made any friends? And interestingly enough, guys, she's made one friend in the household so far, and that's been Lady Catalea. And I feel like it's been, Catalea, who's been building connections with her. I feel like every time, because, Catalea herself was such a big threat to people when she came in, relationship-wise, I feel like she sees this new arrival as a bit of a threat as well. So she's moved really quickly to neutralize her, basically befriend her and pull her over to her side so that Lexi doesn't become a problem in the future. And I think she's kind of clarified with Lexi's ambition within the Coven is and that it doesn't conflict with hers. So they've kind of got that friendship going on, which is very interesting to me. Very, very interesting. So good on Lexi. Good on Lexi. She's got a friend at least. So a friend. And I'm seeing some missing walls here. I am seeing some missing walls. So let's fix that up. Let's fix all of this up. There shouldn't be a case. And then we have missing walls on this side. Okay, any more missing walls down here? Yes. We have a couple. That's okay, we'll get them fixed up real quick. There we go, and I think we should be all good. Actually, let me check back here. Yep, we're all good. Even on the outside, I like to have the walls, it probably doesn't matter, but I like to have the walls kind of not bare on the outside as well. It's just a personal thing of mine. Okay, let's just fix this up. Also the inside of pools, I like that to be nice and neat. I like the inside of pools to be walled up. Okay, that's fine. Do we have any other gaps? I did briefly look through it. I don't know what's going on here. Let's wall this up. Actually, no. That's concrete, isn't it? That's intentional. Yeah, I'll try and wall up the insides of the pillars. We'll do that. I've got this. Let's see, everything else appears to be in order. And I think upstairs should be fine as well. I did briefly look through, but sometimes you miss things, Sometimes, is this a white wall? I think that's a white wall. Sometimes you just overlook stuff and you only notice when you're actually in there playing the game. Okay, I think the other walls are white walls, so I don't have to mess around with them. That's fine and well. But okay, I think, guys, we are going to wrap stuff up here. We got some important things done. We had some progress in the story. We took a look at Diana's reading, and we also saw some people's intentions going forward about, where their mind is at and what they might be thinking. So, okay, guys, with that said and done, I am going to leave off here. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I will see you all next time. Bye-bye.